Welcome to Midlife Moves, where we're figuring out this whole midlife thing one day, one workout, and one what the hell just happened moment at a time. I'm Heather, and if you're navigating career shifts, fitness goals, parenting teenagers, or just wondering when the hell we became the grown-ups, you're in the right place. Let's talk about the real stuff, no filters, just honest conversations and a little bit of chaos. Let's get into it. Hey listeners, it's Heather here with a quick message before we get into the rest of the episode. I have been blown away by the level of support from you guys. I love seeing how much the topics resonate with all of you and hearing how the episodes make you feel seen. I genuinely appreciate the outpouring of support from everyone. If you've been enjoying the show, there are a few ways you can continue to support the podcast and the team behind it. If you aren't already, follow us on Instagram at the Midlife Moves Podcast. For more behind-the-scenes info on the show and our guests, check out our website, midlifemoves.co. Reviews go a long way. I'd really appreciate a rating and a review on the podcast platform of your choice. And finally, check out the merch store. It's a fantastic way to rep the podcast and help support the team that makes these episodes possible. We've got some great designs for t-shirts and totes available there. Thank you all again so much and enjoy the rest of the episode. Hi. I'm Heather Francis and welcome to another episode of Midlife Moves. Before I get into today's topic, I have a funny story for you. When Amber went to school, when it was her freshman year in college, I was so devastated that I was like, I need something that needs me. Nothing else is ever going to love me the way my oldest daughter loves me. I was very dramatic. We wound up with Hagrid, our little 5-pound Yorkie. That is how he came to be. So recently, Michael and I have been traveling. We've been spending a lot of time together, and the kids have brought up like bringing another dog into the house because Miles passed away. So we've always had 3 dogs. We're down to 2, and they were like, "All right, well, when are we refilling?" And Michael and I were like, "We're not." We were wrong. I have a family member who is ill or who needs a little bit of help with her dog, and so her 12-year-old dog has come to stay with us. We're back to 3 dogs. The timing of that is ironic because back to school happened and one of the kids just moved out. So we're back. We're down a kid. We're up a dog, which brings me to back to school. I thought a lot about how I wanted to frame this and the conversation I wanted to have around it and what I wanted to talk about in terms of these kids going back to school and the emotion involved and, the logistics. And then it just came down to like this. I want to just tell you guys where I am. And maybe you will, find comfort or find, yourself in this a little bit, or maybe it'll make you feel a little bit better. We did back to school last year too. I talked to Kaylee and Pepper and we talked about, like what they were looking forward to and what they were, the logistics of it. And we were talking about what they were going to be doing. Kaylee was getting ready to go to Rome and Pepper was getting ready to enter her freshman year. And so I guess a quick update for you. Shortly after that episode aired, Kaylee decided to blow up her entire life. And she decided she didn't like the program that she was in. She didn't like the school that she was going to. She wanted to go to Rome. She went to Rome, but she a week before she left for that semester abroad, she disenrolled from that school and that program. She applied to another school, a local school, as a different major, totally different major. She went from an interior design major to a political science major. And then she got on a plane to Rome and finished that fall semester and came home and started spring as like a totally different person. It wasn't really a surprise because we kind of had a feeling that she wasn't totally into the program that she was doing. And we knew that there was some personality conflicts that she was having with some of her friend group. And so I wasn't totally surprised when she came to us and told us she wanted to make this change. And we were like, what, of course, do it. Because what are you going to do? You're going to graduate. We're going to make you see this program through that you don't even like. And you're going to graduate with a degree that isn't going to make sense for you. So we told her to, of course, do what you want to do. And so that's what she did. And so far it has worked out. So she has started her senior year this year. And last year she was living at school. Well, she was living in Rome. She was across the ocean. This year she's commuting. So she is living at home again and she's working and she's going to school full time. The kid hustled because she knew that there was a chance that she'd be adding an extra year on because of the program switch so late in the game. And so she took extra classes last year. She took summer school classes. So she's going to graduate on time. The kid hustled. Pepper had a totally opposite experience. She went to school and she absolutely loved it. She thrived there. Kaylee thrived, but like she fell in love with the program. She fell in love with everyone there. And so she was like, I'm going to get a house with my girlfriends. We were like, that's fine. If that's what you want to do, we are supportive of that. And then she kept talking about, like, we're going to live in this house for 3 years. And we were just like, okay, so live in the house for 3 years. And I guess it didn't click that she meant like she's going to live there. Because we had always had the kids, like Amber always came home for holidays. Kaylee always came home for holidays. The dorms closed, so the kids had to come home. Or school let out, so the kids would just come home because that's what they did, because everyone else was going home. They were going to come home. And so she had to like spell it out to Michael and I and be like, no, you don't understand. I'm moving out. I'm taking my stuff with me. This is no longer going to be home base. And so we figured that out maybe a month ago. It just wasn't registering for us, because to us, we were just like, oh, well, of course she's going to go to school and then she'll be back on break. She'll be back during Christmas time. And she moved. So she decided to move out. She's still on the payroll, guys. So it's not like she's going to get far from us. And it's not like she's actually like all the way out. I think she's got a number of years. Amber's still on the payroll and she is married and 26. So she's almost going to be 27. And we still pay for, she's still on her cell phone plan. So I think that she's got a long time until Pepper is actually like totally independent. But it was interesting, the difference between the two of them, because we anticipated our experience with Pepper going, and we expected her to spend a whole lot of time home with us. And she did not at all. She never came home. Once she got to school last year, she was never home. She was really enjoying her friend experience, and she was really enjoying, like the sorority experience. And she was really just, like enjoying life. And then we still have Mikey, who is going into 8th grade. So we have many years with a child home until we're actual empty nesters. But getting ready for back to school this year was a little bit different than last year. So like the preparations, everything that Pepper needed, like she's got these roommates. So it was trying to, logistically, it was, not so different, but emotionally, once we figured out her intentions of like actually moving out, that was significantly different. Because then, especially as it got closer, and because it was a lot of like, what do you mean? You're not coming home for break. And like, so when she packed up and moved her stuff out, I didn't go up to her room for the first 2 weeks because I didn't want to really see what that meant. And so I was just up there the other day for the first time, and it's empty. Like she did. She moved out. She took all of her stuff. And that was a different feeling. That's different. So like when Amber moved out, she was graduated for years. She was working, like she stayed with us after school for a little bit, but she had gone through college already, and she was working, and this was expected. She had a long-term boyfriend. She was not working close, so like her moving out was a natural next step. Pepper moving out didn't feel such a natural next step. It felt like a shock, and I wasn't prepared for it. She still comes home a lot, and she still takes all my food. So having her not here is a lot like having her here. when she's home, she came home yesterday and she just parks herself on the couch and she, hangs out there. She doesn't go up to her room anymore and shut herself in there. But that was different. And my house feels a little bit different. So, we're getting used to having Mikey home, and now, and it's just 4 of us. So it's, me and Mikey and Kaylee and Michael. The good thing for Mikey is we are traveling a lot, and that kid gets to go everywhere with us now. He's living quite the life. Now, the logistics for Kaylee going, commuting is much easier, obviously. Like you don't have the financial burden of finding housing at school, but it also presents issues for her probably because she's still living by our rules. Like we still get up very early for work. So she has to, there's a curfew and there is, like rules about living here. So while it's convenient from a financial aspect, I'm sure like her lifestyle is affected by this. She did mention, moving out and getting a place of her own. And we were kind of like, why? Like, you're so close to graduating. Like, why don't you just like hold tight? Like, you don't need extra loans. Don't worry about working that much. Just stay at home and, we'll figure out the rest after you graduate. And that way you can focus on what's important, because she does work. She has a job, that's part-time, and it's just different. This stage of life is like, it's the big things, right? Like Mikey's 13 and he's going through, like friend drama, and getting ready for him to go to school is very routine. It's checking his schedule. It's making sure we have everything, and following up on all those fucking emails, guys, which is very time intensive, but it's very routine. There's no emotion involved in it. There's more emotion for him at the end of every school year. It's like, oh, my baby's not, like my baby's going to be in 8th grade next year. My baby's going to be in high school next year, But with the girls, as they get older, there's so much emotion involved in everything, because they're growing so much and they're having these life experiences. And so I look at where they are now, and I'm so proud of them, but it's also like, Jesus Christ, you guys are not my baby girls anymore. Always be my babies, but they're not little girls, and they are having like real world life experiences, and they are preparing to be grown. Like today, Pepper's windshield broke. So she arranged for it to get repaired. She did all the things. And the last step was her getting her inspection stickers put back on the windshield. I don't know how other states are, but in Pennsylvania, we have inspections and emissions that need to be on the windshield. And so she had to go to the mechanic and have them put the stickers on. And she had to have her registration. She had to have her insurance card and all of these other documents. And so she had to figure out how to get them. Her registration. Guys, I'm really bad at renewing registration. If it's not sitting right in front of me, I'm not thinking about it. And her registration was not renewed. I don't know how long ago it expired. So she had to figure out how to renew her registration. She had to find her updated insurance card. Like, she was responsible for all these documents that I had always taken care of. And she was like, you didn't renew my registration. And I was like, you want to be a grown-up. You want to live independently. You need to figure out how to do these things. And of course I help them. Of course I will go through with them how to do it and what information they need. But a lot of these are things that, they need to start figuring out on their own. Kaylee makes all of her own doctor's appointments. Her care is independent of me at this point. So while she does live here, she is extremely independent. Like, she had dental work done and she handled scheduling it. She handled, all of the logistics of it. I just give them my credit card. I think that's my role at this point. That's my role in their life at this point. And just giving them credit cards. I've accepted that. That's all right. With all of that said, I wouldn't change a thing. I have loved every one of the phases that my kids have been in, even the ones that hurt. And this is one of those ones this is one of those transitional phases, the girls going to school and growing and all of this, that is painful. And then moving out is fucking brutal. It's brutal. There's also an element of it that I'm like, oh, well, this is one less person to worry about. I have 4 kids, and that can be a lot sometimes. No, you know what? I would take them living here any day. But it's fun to watch them move on. It's fun to watch them grow. It's fun to watch them learn how to be an adult. It's incredibly gratifying as a parent that they are able to figure these things out. They're not helpless. These aren't helpless girls going out into the world. They're women that are figuring out how to live adult lives. And I'm there to support them. And I will always be there to support them. Just as I'm sure you are there with your daughters. And hopefully your mothers were there for you. They are very, very cool. But back to school this year was very different than back to school last year. It wasn't better or worse. It was just different. And everything that we go through just lends itself to growth, right? Now with Pepper out of the house, Mikey is begging for her room. And so we kind of said, why don't we wait until Christmas? Let's get through Christmas first, and then we'll reallocate rooms. We'll see who goes where, because who knows what will happen with her living situation. And and honestly, she can proclaim that she's not going to be back, because her intention is to live there for 3 years and then go straight into her career. And she doesn't want to live here. She wants to move away after she graduates. She has no intention of living around here. So, but who knows what will happen in the next couple of months and as this all shakes out. As we all know, plans change quickly. So that's my back to school this year. I hope you followed along. I hope I didn't ramble too much. And as always, if you guys have an experience that you'd like to share with me, my DMs are always open. You can slide into my DMs or you can send me an email at midlifemovespod@gmail.com. And ladies, until next time. That's it for this episode. If you had fun, learned something, or just feel a little less alone in the chaos, make sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss what's next. And if you want to keep the conversation going, come find me on Instagram at HeatherMoves_, because midlife is way more fun when we do it together. Until next time, keep moving forward, or at least keep moving. See ya.